CJ Gardner-Johnson's baby mama, Summer Booney, just leaked an audio clip that allegedly catches him slipping. In the recording, he talks about putting a hit on Malik Nabers. And the craziest part, he had no idea he was being recorded.
Like, tell Malik Nabers about the so-called hit you had with your boy Z.
CJ Gardner is also finally speaking out. I've got all the details. Let's get into it. Allegations that shook the NFL world. The NFL has seen its fair share of controversies, but few have captured the public's attention quite like the explosive allegations that emerged in early July 2025. What started as a seemingly private dispute between former lovers quickly spiraled into a viral sensation that had fans, analysts, and league officials questioning the very nature of player safety and personal vendettas in professional football. The story begins with Summer Booney, an Instagram model and social media personality who has made headlines before for her high-profile relationships with celebrities. Born Summer Marjani on November 4th, 1998 in Texas, Bunny has built a career around her social media presence and appearances in music videos, including work with artists like Nicki Minaj. However, it's her tumultuous relationship with Houston Texans safety CJ Gardner-Johnson that thrust her into the NFL spotlight in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. The controversy erupted when Summer Bunny made explosive claims on her Instagram stories around July 7, 2025, alleging that Gardner-Johnson had orchestrated a hit on New York Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers. But this wasn't just another social media rant from a disgruntled ex-girlfriend. The allegations were specific, disturbing, and came with what appeared to be audio evidence that would send shockwaves through the NFL community. According to the leaked video that surfaced on social media platforms, Bunny claimed that Gardner-Johnson had said, "Tell Malik Nabers about the so-called hit you had with your boy Z. My boy Z gonna go get Malik Nabers tonight," showcasing a threat against the Giants' rookie sensation. The timing and nature of these allegations couldn't have been more explosive, coming during what should have been a routine NFL offseason.
He was trying to cover up whatever he had, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world.
The allegations gained immediate traction across social media platforms, with posts from prominent NFL accounts amplifying the story to millions of viewers. Accounts such as at NFL_Dolph posted about the controversy on July 8, 2025, with the post garnering over 2.4 million views and stating, "Insane, CJ. Gardner-Johnson's baby mama Summer goes off on him," implying that he hired a hit on Giant star WR Malik Nabers. The viral nature of the content meant that within hours, the story had reached every corner of the NFL universe.
It's going to be interesting watching these dudes match up with each other, and how can he get under Malik Nabers' skin?
But to understand the gravity of these allegations, we need to examine the key players involved in this drama. CJ Gardner-Johnson, born Chauncey Gardner Jr. on December 20th, 1997, in Cocoa, Florida, has built a reputation as one of the NFL's most aggressive and outspoken defensive backs. Currently a safety for the Houston Texans, Gardner-Johnson has played for multiple teams, including the New Orleans Saints, Philadelphia Eagles, and Detroit Lions, throughout his career. His journey to this controversy is marked by both exceptional on-field performance and a series of confrontational incidents that have defined his public persona. Gardner-Johnson's professional achievements are impressive. He tied for the league lead with 6 interceptions in 2022 while playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, and was instrumental in their Super Bowl Licks victory in 2025. However, his career has been punctuated by controversy, including multiple fines for unsportsmanlike conduct, ejections for taunting, and various altercations with opposing players. In December 2024 alone, he was ejected from a game for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties related to taunting, resulting in a $45,022 fine from the NFL. The target of these alleged threats, Malik Nabers, represents everything that's bright about the future of the NFL. Born on July 28, 2003, in Lafayette, Louisiana, the 21-year-old wide receiver was selected 6th overall in the 2024 NFL Draft by the New York Giants. His rookie season was nothing short of spectacular, as he set an NFL record for most receptions by a rookie wide receiver with 109 catches, totaling 1,204 yards and 7 touchdowns, despite missing 2 games due to a concussion. The connection between Gardner-Johnson and Nabers on the field is minimal at best. The two teams, Eagles and Giants, faced each other twice in the 2024 season. On October 20th, 2024, at MetLife Stadium, Giants lost 3-28. And on January 5th, 2025, at Lincoln Financial Field, Giants lost 13-20. During these matchups, there were no reported incidents, excessive hits, or penalties involving the two players.
Just showing how we're finishing off strong, so how much preparation and work that we put in through the offseason.
to come in here and make a difference to this team.
This is where the story takes a more complex turn, delving into the personal relationships that may have motivated these explosive allegations. Summer. Bunny isn't just a random accuser in this scenario. She has direct connections to both players that add layers of complexity to the situation. Bunny is the mother of Gardner-Johnson's twin son and daughter, making their relationship deeply personal and contentious. Their romantic history has been marked by public disputes, including previous social media rants where Bunny accused Gardner-Johnson of infidelity and threatened to leak private content as far back as 2021. Perhaps even more intriguingly, Bunny reportedly dated Nabers in the past, as well as other NFL players like Tony Pollard. This shared romantic history between Bunny and both players creates a triangle of personal relationships that could provide context for why Nabers was specifically mentioned in her accusations against Gardner-Johnson. The allegations themselves were made during what appeared to be a private conversation that was somehow recorded and later shared publicly. The evidence reflects that Gardner-Johnson did not know he was being recorded, as it was part of a private conversation that was shared publicly without his knowledge. This raises important questions about privacy, consent, and the ethics of sharing private communications in public forums. The term hit that was central to the allegations created immediate confusion and concern among fans and analysts. In football terminology, a hit typically refers to a legal tackle or physical play within the confines of the game. However, Bunny's phrasing and the context of her rant show something more sinister, leading to speculation about whether she meant an on-field targeting or an off-field threat. The mysterious figure referred to as Z in the allegations added another layer of intrigue to the story. Bunny specifically mentioned Gardner-Johnson hiring someone named Z to go get Malik Nabers tonight during an Eagles-Giants game. This reference to a third party potentially being involved in targeting an NFL player elevated the seriousness of the allegations and prompted widespread speculation about who this individual might be and what role they were supposed to play.
But I don't give a because y'all ruined it for the best. Y'all actually benefited my life because it was a toxic situation.
Public reaction to the allegations was swift and divided. Some fans dismissed the claims as a baby mama meltdown, while others expressed genuine concern about the implications, with one fan on social media stating, "Unfortunately, I actually believe this woman." The viral nature of the content meant that opinions were forming rapidly, often without full context or verification of the claims being made. The timing of these allegations was particularly significant, coming during the NFL offseason when news cycles are typically slower and any controversy tends to receive amplified attention. The league, teams, and players involved found themselves thrust into a situation that required careful navigation of legal, public relations, and player safety concerns. This story is about the intersection of personal relationships, professional athletics, social media culture, and the serious implications of threats, real or perceived, in the modern NFL landscape. The allegations would force all parties involved to address not just the immediate claims, but the broader questions about privacy, relationships, and conduct that they raised. CJ Gardner-Johnson's response. The NFL world didn't have to wait long for CJ Gardner-Johnson's response to the explosive allegations. On July 9th, 2025, Gardner-Johnson addressed the controversy directly on social media, firmly denying the accusations and calling them false news. His response wasn't just a simple denial, it was a comprehensive rebuttal that sought to address the core claims while providing context that painted a very different picture of the situation.
He know what he's done. Whatever he's lied and said to them, those were lies.
Gardner-Johnson's statement included powerful declarations such as, "We don't even know each other, bro. We ain't even have any issues on the field," directly addressing the alleged connection between him and Malik Nabers. This assertion was particularly significant because it highlighted the fundamental weakness in the allegation, the lack of any documented relationship or conflict between the two players that would motivate such extreme actions. The Texans' safety didn't stop at simply denying the allegations. He attributed the accusations to bitterness and chaos, suggesting they were motivated by personal grievances rather than factual events. This characterization pointed directly at his tumultuous relationship with Summer Bunny, and according to him, this matter was only part of a broader pattern of personal disputes that had spilled into the public arena. Perhaps most tellingly, Gardner-Johnson clarified the identity of the mysterious Z mentioned in the allegations, stating unequivocally that Z-Dog is not any sort of criminal associate or enforcer, but a well-known music producer with whom he had been collaborating on a series of recording projects during the 2024 offseason. According to Gardner-Johnson, the conversation allegation Bunny referenced had nothing to do with any plan to harm Malik Nabers, and instead revolved around scheduling studio time and promoting an upcoming mixtape that Gardner-Johnson had been funding as part of his side business ventures in the entertainment industry.
If the beef is stemming from something personal, he tried his baby mama, talking about his boy Z. First of all, she just criminally implicated somebody.
He further explained in his statement, shared on Instagram Live and later reposted by Sports Illustrated, that the phrase, "my boy Z gonna get him tonight" was, in his words, just slang about locking in features and getting tracks mixed, emphasizing that anyone familiar with music culture would understand the context. To support this, Gardner-Johnson pointed out that Z-Dog's production credits are publicly available and include collaborations with several regional hip-hop artists in Florida and Georgia, none of whom have any known connection to violence or organized crime. The response also revealed Gardner-Johnson's perspective on the broader situation. He referenced his faith being tested, saying, "The devil will try to shake your faith at times, and I ain't really tripping," as he viewed the allegations as a personal trial rather than a credible threat to his career. This philosophical approach to the controversy demonstrated a level of composure that contrasted sharply with the emotional nature of the original accusation.
I just want him to be a father, and I want his mama to realize that.
As Gardner-Johnson's denial circulated through social media and news outlets, attention turned to the broader context of his relationship with Summer Bunny. Their history reveals a pattern of public disputes that provides crucial context for understanding these latest allegations. Booney has previously accused Gardner-Johnson of neglecting their children, making threats against her and their daughter, and disrespecting black women, with these claims primarily shared via social media in February 2025.
I'm taking care of these kids without your son's help. CJ, you know you running around here, you ain't taking care of your kids, boy. But it's cool. Everything will be fine. It's all love to all of them. We're gonna let this go.
The pattern of accusations extends beyond just personal grievances. In previous social media rants, Bunny has accused Gardner-Johnson of infidelity and threatened to leak private content, indicating a relationship characterized by public confrontations and mutual accusations. Meanwhile, the target of the alleged threats, Malik Nabers, maintained a strategic silence throughout the controversy. Nabers has not publicly commented on the allegations, choosing instead to focus on his professional career and impressive rookie season performance. His decision to remain quiet suggests he views the controversy as irrelevant to his professional life and unworthy of dignifying with a response. This silence is particularly telling given the serious nature of the allegations. There is complete silence from Malik Nabers' side, and this silence is referring to something very serious, which can be very harmful. Despite the viral nature of the accusations and the serious implications they carried, neither the NFL nor any legal authorities announced an investigation into the matter. This absence of official action speaks volumes about how seriously the claims were taken by those in positions to evaluate their merit. The NFL has historically taken player safety issues very seriously, particularly in an era of increased awareness about player welfare and security. The league has comprehensive policies and procedures for investigating potential threats to player safety, and still no initial investigations have been started shows something dangerous, as if the league is trying to neglect that issue or they don't want to be involved in such a serious and dramatic thing. But the league should not remain silent after all. This is a matter of someone's life. As details emerged about the relationship dynamics involved, the allegations began to take on a different character. The shared romantic history between Summer Bunny and both Gardner-Johnson and Nabers created a complex web of personal relationships that could explain the targeting of Nabers in the accusations. Rather than being based on professional animosity or on-field incidents, the allegations appeared to be rooted in personal jealousy and relationship drama.
You gonna get that hit because he your baby mama?
The media coverage of the story also revealed important details about the evidence. News outlets consistently noted that Booney's posts were vague, emotional, and completely lacking in any actual evidence. The timing and manner in which the allegations surfaced prompted observers to consider their context and purpose. They were presented during an emotional social media broadcast that also mentioned claims of infidelity, indicating that personal grievances and professional criticisms were intertwined. The fact that both types of accusations appeared together led many to see the statements as part of a larger, multifaceted dispute rather than a focused concern about any specific incident. Analysis of the game footage and official reports from the Eagles-Giants matchups in 2024 provided additional context that contradicted the allegations. There are no reports of any notable incidents, such as excessive hits or penalties involving Gardner-Johnson and Nabers, in game recaps or highlights from the two games between their teams.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, you know him dissing Malik Nabers.
The controversy also highlighted the broader issue of how private communications allegations can be weaponized in personal disputes. The apparent recording of Gardner-Johnson without his knowledge and the subsequent public sharing of that recording raised important questions about privacy and consent in personal relationships. The practice of secretly recording private conversations and then selectively sharing portions of those recordings can create misleading impressions and false narratives. As the story developed, it became increasingly clear that the allegations were not being taken seriously by official channels, and this is a serious concern. As in the past, officials respond when something bad happens and things can't be undone. The social media reaction also began to shift as more details emerged and Gardner-Johnson's response gained traction. Initial reactions that ranged from concern to belief in the allegations gradually gave way to more skeptical assessments as the lack of evidence became apparent. Modern NFL drama. The CJ Gardner-Johnson and Malik Nabers controversy serves as a fascinating case study in how modern NFL drama unfolds in the social media age, revealing deeper truths about player relationships, media consumption, and the intersection of personal lives with professional sports. As we examine the broader implications of this incident, it becomes clear that this story is about much more than just one set of allegations. It's a window into the complex dynamics that shape modern professional athletics. To fully understand the significance of this controversy, we must first examine Gardner-Johnson's history of confrontational behavior and how it has shaped his public persona. Gardner-Johnson has been involved in several on-field incidents throughout his career, including a 2020 altercation with Bears' Javon Wims, who claimed Gardner-Johnson spit on him, a claim he denied, leading to a $5,128 fine for Gardner-Johnson and a 2-game suspension for Wims. This pattern of aggressive behavior has created a reputation that makes him an easy target for accusations, regardless of their validity.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, yes, he once smoked with Malik Nabers and even dissed him.
The recent Eagles training camp footage shows Gardner-Johnson engaging in his typical aggressive style, with commentary noting his tendency to get under opponents' skin. His confrontational approach has led to multiple fines and ejections, including a December 2024 ejection for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that resulted in a $45,022 fine. This established pattern of behavior provides context for why accusations against him might gain initial traction, even when lacking substantial evidence. Gardner-Johnson's post-Super Bowl behavior in 2025 further exemplifies his controversial nature. Following the Philadelphia Eagles victory, he posted vulgar messages targeting Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and wore an offensive hoodie aimed at Taylor Swift's fans during the victory parade. These actions were cited as contributing factors in his trade to the Houston Texans, demonstrating how his off-field behavior can have professional consequences.
This is just CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's feisty, he's outspoken, and every team that acquires him becomes the next team to end up hearing his complaints when that team inevitably moves on.
The timing of the Summer Bunny allegations takes on additional significance when viewed against Gardner-Johnson's recent career transitions. After helping the Eagles win Super Bowl licks in 2025, Gardner-Johnson was traded to the Houston Texans, prompting him to express feeling highly disrespected despite his contributions to the championship. This sense of professional displacement may have created additional stress in his personal relationships, potentially contributing to the volatility that led to the public accusations. Summer Bunny's role in this controversy must also be understood within the context of her history of high-profile disputes. Her involvement in the 2018 Offset affair, where she allegedly had an affair with the rapper while he was married to Cardi B, demonstrates a pattern of finding herself at the center of celebrity relationship drama. Her subsequent apology for that situation, where she expressed regret for affecting Cardi B and Offset's marriage, shows a history of making public accusations that she later backs away from. The allegations against Gardner-Johnson follow a similar pattern to Bunny's previous controversy. Her claims about the hit on Nabers were made during an emotional social media rant that also included accusations of infidelity and neglect, showing they were part of a broader personal attack rather than a careful disclosure of legitimate safety concerns. This context raises questions about the reliability of accusations made during highly emotional and public relationship disputes. Nabers' past relationship with Summer Bunny appears to be the only connection that would explain his inclusion in her accusations against Gardner-Johnson. His strategic silence throughout the controversy demonstrates the professional approach of choosing not to engage with baseless accusations that could distract from his career. The training camp dynamics shown in recent Eagles footage illustrate the intensity of NFL preparation and how personal dramas can serve as unwelcome distractions. Gardner-Johnson's ability to continue performing at a high level, despite personal controversy, speaks to his professionalism, even as his outspoken nature continues to generate headlines.
He went back to the Eagles, but, you know, he's guy who's always going to have complaints about the last employer that he had.
The initial viral spread of Booney's accusations through social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram demonstrates how unverified claims can quickly reach millions of people before any fact-checking or investigation can occur. Tragically, the NFL has already seen how off-field tensions and confrontations can end in irreversible consequences. One of the most heartbreaking examples is the 2016 murder of former New Orleans Saints star Will Smith, who was shot and killed following a road rage altercation in New Orleans. Smith, a Super Bowl champion and respected veteran in the league, was involved in a minor traffic incident with another driver, Cardell Hayes, who, following a heated verbal exchange, opened fire, fatally shooting Smith and injuring his wife. Investigators later revealed that the confrontation escalated rapidly, and though it had no direct ties to the football field, it became a stark example of how volatile emotions and unchecked hostility can quickly spiral into deadly violence, even involving public figures. Against the backdrop of that tragedy, some fans and analysts have grown uneasy at how casually the Gardner-Johnson / Malik Nabers controversy has been brushed aside. While sports channels and pundits have rushed to dismiss Summer Bunny's viral allegations as mere Instagram nonsense or relationship drama, others argue that history demands a more responsible lens. In an era where tensions between athletes, rivals, and public figures are broadcast in real time, the idea of ignoring a claim, however messy or lacking in evidence, seems dangerously short-sighted. As one commentator put it in a Yahoo Sports thread, the NFL already lost Will Smith because of a dispute that escalated off the field. Why is the media acting like this can't happen again? This isn't to say the Gardner-Johnson allegations carry the same weight or credibility, but rather that the precedent of real-world violence involving NFL players should at least compel more thoughtful coverage, not less. In a league that regularly discusses mental health, player safety, and public accountability, a claim of orchestrated harm, no matter how murky, deserves more than a collective shrug. The interpretation of language and context played a crucial role in how these allegations were perceived. The term hit in football typically refers to legal tackles or physical plays within the game, but Bunny's phrasing suggested something more sinister, creating ambiguity that fueled speculation. Gardner-Johnson's clarification that Z-Dog is a music producer rather than someone involved in any plot significantly undermined the sinister interpretation of the communications. The professional consequences of public controversies, regardless of their validity, cannot be understated in the modern NFL. Gardner-Johnson's history of controversial statements and actions, including his criticism of Philadelphia fans and post-Super Bowl behavior, contributed to his trade from the Eagles to the Texans. This pattern shows how off-field behavior can impact career opportunities and team relationships, even for talented players.
The Texans regard him as being good enough to accept the inevitability that Gardner-Johnson is going to be somewhere else next year or the year after complaining about the Houston Texans.
As we look at the resolution of this controversy, several key lessons emerge about modern sports media and personal relationships in the public eye. The importance of official channels and institutional responses became clear as the story developed. The controversy ultimately appears to be exactly what Gardner-Johnson claimed it was, a product of bitterness and chaos stemming from personal relationship disputes rather than any genuine threat to player safety. The lack of evidence, the absence of official investigations, and the clear personal motivations behind the allegations all point to a conclusion that the claims were unfounded. Well, that's it for this video, but don't go anywhere because we got plenty more heat for you. Just tap any of the cards on your screen right now and keep it locked.